How American schools create violence and stupidity. You know this is cooked, bro, when it be 7:30 a.m. in the fucking morning and there's about like 5 fights that have already happened in the school. In other countries, do they be having that, bro? I'm gonna assume they have fights that happens in schools and stuff, but can't be at the same amount we have. Like, it is literally a whole thing, bro. Like, there is compilations on YouTube of school fights. Canada, probably. Man, what the f do they fight, huh? I guarantee they slap each other with maple syrup. Kidding. I love my Canadian viewers, all right? The only fight, quote unquote, fight I've ever been in, it wasn't really a fight. I remember I did 6th grade, 7th grade, and we slap boxed. And I was so bad, bro. Dude, the video's out there somewhere of me slap boxing a dude in middle school. There's this one dude that used to record all the school fights from my middle school to high school, and I think he has it. The video used to be on YouTube, and then YouTube ended up like having a crackdown because like a bunch of schools got mad. A bunch of kids were posting fight videos on YouTube, so they took down a bunch of fight videos pretty much of like a bunch of schools. Like, I'm pretty sure if I search up high school fight, a lot won't even pop up. Yeah, look, it's like news channels and stuff. It used to be literally like phone POVs like this. Let me go on TikTok and just search up like school fight.
Living up to the allegations.
What the f? Bro, who is that? Yo, TikTok, stop playing random people's live streams in my shit. Look at these little ass shits. Bro, like, what are you doing, bro? All for you to get there and the fight is f***ing over. And the principal broke it up. Yo, are we sure this is a high schooler, bro? Or a grown man? The thing they were right, though, you know how they always like lied about, oh, whenever you go into middle school, they're not gonna have this. Whenever you go into high school, they're not gonna have this. Whenever you go into college, the thing they were 100% right on is fights, bro. You fight when you're a grown adult, you are going to prison. And you being bent over by a nigga named Bubba in a motherfucking prison. The percentage of fights I've seen in my life, 90% was when I was in school, between elementary school to high school. After that, boom, it just dropped, bro, because you got consequences for those actions. You don't want to go to prison, bro. Anyways, let's go ahead and see this.
American students are violent.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and we're also kind of dumb.
Only 37% of high school seniors were academically prepared for college, math, and reading courses.
And this is in 2015, 10 years ago, bro. Could you imagine now? Dude, this number's got to drop to like 20%. It's probably dropped to like 15%.
Why are so many American adolescents so violent and uneducated? Because our school system
Probably
is
zero.
absolute garbage. 44% of American high school students experience school-related violence. 22% of students reported being in a physical fight. In the US, school fights happen all the time.
Bro, and the crazy thing is, y'all, this all depends on your school, obviously. There would be some niggas that literally just want to start a fight for no reason. Bro, I would be in school, bro, and some dude will be like not shove, but like shoulder me on something. I'm like, bro, what the f are you doing? And it'll always be them trying to look tough in front of the girls, bro. That would literally be the only reason why they be doing it. No other reason. And y'all, I'm telling you, bro, if you're in high school and a nigga does that shit, bro, unless if it's like crazy, okay, I'm not gonna lie, if he pushes you to the ground, but like, bro, just ignore that shit because it's so fucking annoying, bro. I don't know what it is, bro. I don't know if it's them not being raised right at home. There's that pent up anger. Like, dude, go to the gym, bro. You can go to the gym and let out that anger. Hey guys, Tom NFG here. Did you know only half of you guys are subscribed and even less of you guys have noties on? I hate to be a burden, but you know, I really appreciate it if you hit that sub button and the little bell next to it, you know? It doesn't take long. I know you can get mixed up in the algorithm and everything. But yeah, also tune into the streams, you know? We have a lot of fun over there, I'm telling you. We have a lot of parties going on over there. Yeah, that's it, bye. Damn.
Time, and for petty reasons. Hardly anybody is shocked when a fight breaks out. And this violence isn't only between students. It's not rare to hear about fights between students and teachers as well. Some students have assaulted their teachers, leaving them severely injured. There are two big reasons why fights are so common in America. The first is because school authorities put very little effort into stopping.
Bro, I feel like other countries would be genuinely shocked at the amount of fights. Y'all think that? You go to like a country like China or Japan or whatever, South Korea, with like a strict education system, they're gonna be like, what? A fight happens at y'all's school? It's not perfect. You guys don't have like cool design lockers like it's Victorious. I think they would truly be shocked at the amount of like fucking fights.
Violence. As punishment for school violence, students are usually suspended for a few days or receive a short detention. Some students even get away with it scot-free. Students don't fear the
crazy thing is suspensions don't really do anything, by the way. I mean, maybe applying to colleges in your high school, but still, I knew dudes that got suspensions and they still got in like the schools they wanted to. They probably have a quota, like if you have 5 suspensions or something, they're like, all right, you're a little bit wild. And expulsion, you're cooked. Getting expelled, you deserve that shit, because what the f, like, to get expelled, you have to have straight up done like some criminal thing. F students are inventors. Yeah, you're right, bro. Hey, maybe they're fighting just to let out the pent out anger, but in reality, what if we took their minds and let them express themselves in a room together? They could be the smartest people in the room. So I think that's really what's missing. Yeah, I've seen people who SA somebody and still got in the Ivy League. That's crazy. But you know what? I'm not shocked. I'm gonna explain to y'all why. Bro, I knew a girl in high school. I was somewhat friends with her. And bro, the story she told me was insane. She said she was literally just sitting down on the staircase, bro. Some dude put out his fucking meat next to her, bro. She told me at the time, this was when I think I was either a junior or senior or something. It was like a year before, and she told me she reported to the school. School was like, oh, we'll get on it. Never did nothing. Crazy the amount of like shit like that happens in schools too, when it just goes unreported. Disgusting school. Like, dude, my high school's trash, bro. Ghetto as shit.
Repercussions of their violence, so they are much more inclined to fight. And another reason why fights are so common in America is because social media glorifies these fights. Students will record and upload these fights onto TikTok.
Yeah, they'll record like a fight, and all it takes for niggas to not take it serious is just an audio, brain raw audio going like, let me know, let me know.
Do you love the way I'm in and I'm loving your body? And do you love the way I'm in and I'm loving your body?
And then nobody takes it serious. That's all they gotta do. Back then, when I saw school fight videos, I'd be like, damn, these look scary. Or it'd be like, I got a brand new saxophone.
TikTok and Instagram and get millions of views. This has led to a culture which treats school fights as entertainment and encourages students to fight for
See, look. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You can't tell me one of those brain raw audios isn't over the shit.
And attention. The constant violence in public schools has left many children to fear going to school.
He's terrified to come to school. Every day is the same thing, all day, from morning till the time they get out, different fights.
But school fights aren't the only source of violence. Bullying is also a massive problem in American schools. 22% of middle school and high school students report being bullied at school, and half of all students have experienced school-related cyberbullying.
Okay, cyberbullying, in the words of Tyler, the Creator, turn the computer off. I don't know how people get cyberbullied. That might be a crazy take, but genuinely, there is a block button. Unless, I will say, okay, harassment, there is people will get their number and shit, whatnot, start harassing them from different numbers. Yes, in that case, yeah, that could happen. But that, like, is not the case a lot of times, bro. It's just somebody that sent, like, a message or something on IG. Different, you get stalked. Yeah, stalking is different. Like, a lot of girls especially, which sucks, but like there will be dudes like that will like try to harass them like that from different accounts. Yeah, that makes sense. But on average, cyberbullying, you got a message on IG from somebody or Twitter, bro, block them, bro.
160,000 American children miss school every day in fear of bullying. A Yale study found that bully victims are between 2 to 9 times more likely to consider unaliving themselves. In America, it's not uncommon for a child to unalive themselves because of bullying. This bullying isn't just an issue of students, but schools and faculty are also responsible for this. Students often...
A lot of times the bullying I would get when I was younger, it would be a dude trying to impress some girls. He'd be like, oh no, like your fit is like ugly or whatever, this and that. That's literally all it is. Yeah, I want to go back to people that used to make fun of me and be like, huh, what you about to say now, nigga, huh? What you about to say now? Yeah, I guarantee your ass don't make as much as me. You're not gonna make as much as me in the next 10 years. And you're sitting there like a fucking loser, bitch.
Minimal consequences for bullying.
The kid throwing punches was suspended for 3 days.
25% of teachers see nothing wrong with bullying, and teachers only intervene in 4% of bullying incidents. Here's a video showing a school bus driver encouraging a student to beat up another student.
Oh my god, this dude is off his f***ing rocker. See, but this is the problem, bro. Nigga sounds like he needs to be in a retirement home. He's like, yeah, like back in my day, the teachers would put us in a cage and have us fight each other.
Do it!
In Indiana, 10-year-old Sammy Toys was constantly bullied at school. He would come home with bruises as kids would beat him up at school and on the school bus. He was chased, poked, punched, and stuffed into a garbage can. Instead of...
They deadass be doing that? I thought that was like some Disney shit. Put into a garbage can? Hey, free my god, bro. Hey, listen, I want to get him on the stream, bro. We got you, bro. We got you with a special gift. No cap.
Sammy's teachers punished him for, quote, disruptive conduct. Sammy's parents contacted the school 20 times about this problem, but the school did nothing. On May 5th of 2024, Sammy unalived himself.
Bro, rest in peace. Oh my god. What? Yo, that's so sad, bro. Bro, his life didn't even start. Oh my god, that actually just made me so sad.
His bullies never received a single consequence for their actions. If his school had stepped in, Sammy would still be alive. This kind of tragedy has happened in multiple schools in multiple states across America, all because schools have failed to take action. This is the same school system that breeds school shootings. There's a strong link between school shooters and having experienced bullying. Adolescents who have been bullied at school are 49% more likely to carry guns. Our school systems program violence and hatred into students, so it should be no surprise that school shootings are so
Bruh, I feel like if I was in a school shooting, there's no way I can go back to school sanely.
common in America. But school districts put very little effort into addressing and fixing the root cause that leads to school shooting incidents. If schools actually stood up against bullying instead of always letting it slide, school shootings would decrease drastically. The American school system creates generations of toxic and violent individuals who have learned that they can get away with hurting others. Violent kids don't suddenly grow out of it one day. They simply become violent adults. But the only thing worse than a violent generation is a violent and uneducated generation. America spends $857 billion.
That is so insane. And we dumb as shit. 80% of them go to the higher up administrators.
Annually on K through 12 schools, which is $16,280.
$16K per student, bruh. Nigga, I felt my education wasn't even worth $500 through my whole lifetime. It's crazy that there's countries that don't even spend even close to this and have like 10 times better education.
Per student. That's more money.
Doesn't Finland have like the best education? And they spend half of that. If I'm not wrong, it's either Finland or it's some European country. Ireland, Italy, like look, all these countries are literally ahead. Why is Canada not there? Did Canada get erased off the map? Where did Canada go? Why their budget not there?
Per student than any other country. But America ranks 26 in math and 10th
Not
in
enough
science.
data?
Only 26% of
We're 10th in science. America does have like a lot of very smart technological people, bro. Like if you think of it, like Silicon Valley is like basic, not all the tech, but a lot of the tech around the world is used from there.
8th graders are proficient at grade level math. One large reason for this is a shortage of teachers. Do you want more high quality videos like this one? Then subscribe right now. Alright, back to the video. American teachers are paid less than the typical working American. Along with this,
It's like 32K, right? Hold on, let me go ahead and check salaries near me. 40K to 70K. It actually isn't the worst. There's definitely places where it's way fucking worse. Like some teachers only get paid like 30K. And maybe they're upping it. Yo, they might be upping it because nobody wants to be a teacher. Is there anybody here that wants to be a teacher? Genuinely, though, I heard one girl when I was in high school say she wants to be a teacher. And I'm shocked. No, I would never teach in middle school though. Dude, look, listen. The salary for teaching in middle school could be $200,000 my nigga. There could be another job, 50K office job. I'm taking that office job. I don't care. Bro, middle schoolers gotta be the worst demographic to teach because like it's kids that are going through puberty and they're first starting it. Like elementary school is all right. Kids there, you know what I'm saying? You might see some bad kids, but in my elementary school, it wasn't really too crazy. We didn't really have fights like that either because people are still scared about their parents and shit. Like, oh damn, what are my parents gonna say about this? Whatever, they're scared of teachers. Once you hit middle school, bro, niggas stop caring. The niggas get their testosterone flowing through them and everything they're not used to, then they start swinging, bro. I don't know how people teach middle school. But if I search up the stats, it's probably the demographic with the lowest like teaching.
Teachers work an average of 53 hours a week, 7 hours more than the typical working American. This is because teachers have a lot of duties beyond simply teaching.
And then yeah, you gotta leave class and then like grade the papers and stuff. Yeah, it's kind of already graded for them though nowadays.
Such as grading, lesson planning.
But still, yeah, lesson planning, yeah. But then also they get their lessons online. They'll just pay for like a full lesson package too.
Tasks.
Like I think teaching back then, before all this, was definitely way harder. But still, yeah, you do have a big workload.
And to make matters even worse, students are often disrespectful or sometimes even violent towards their teachers. As a result, the teaching industry has become very undesirable for many people, leading to a shortage of teachers. Between February of 2020 and May,
this is my theory. I think the reason why they're starting to implement, or there's been stories saying like they're starting to implement AI, having kids AI classes. I think because in truth, by our generation, bro, when we're grown, nobody's about to be teachers, bro. It's gonna be fully AI. They're gonna be learning from AI because the job is undesirable. You have to like work at like after hours and shit. So I think that's why they're teaching it to kids so they can get used to AI, and then AI teachers are gonna take over and they're just gonna learn like that. My English teachers use ChatGPT, dude. Everybody uses it. Like I guarantee teachers probably are using ChatGPT to grade their papers and stuff. To me, I can't fathom that there's really like English teachers out there that'll be like write an essay and then they'll read every essay. But then again, I had this English teacher in like high school. I wrote the essay and she kind of wrote like she would write side notes about it and she actually would read them. And I'm like, damn, bro, like you gotta read like how many students? Like 90 students and you actually reading them?
Of 2022, 300,000 public school teachers quit their jobs. That's roughly 3% of the workforce. Because of this shortage, teachers are now assigned massive class sizes,
Oh my god. This has got to be like 40 or 50 people.
which makes it harder for each student to receive the specialized help they need. This also means that school districts have lowered standards for hiring teachers in order to make up
Like the biggest class I ever saw in my school, I think it was like 35. It was gym class. Like gym class, it's not really that hard. We just like warm up and they'd be like, all right, go play basketball or something like that. And then you just get an A. I think the recommended amount of students to like teach properly is like 20 usually.
for the shortage. The number of underqualified teaching hires increased by 69% from 2022 to
Oh my god.
2023. Now, American schools
And like it's even worse too, because if you're going for a teaching job, you most likely are a person, you probably just got your degree and you're like, damn, I need a job, I need somewhere to work. I got this degree, it's not really working in the workforce, and you got to go to school and you're not even in a good mood. Like the teacher, it's not people passionate about teaching going in, it's people that literally have no choice. Which is why a lot of times I think with teachers, like everybody has that teacher that's just a dickhead, right? There's this teacher I knew that straight up hated her job, but she had to work it. And it's like at that point, bro, like, dude, we don't want you teaching, bro.
Schools are
Yes,
full of
yes,
terrible,
me too.
incompetent teachers who are hurting the country. I remember back in high school, teachers would assign us massive packets of reading and questions.
Right.
Meanwhile, they would sit in their
And the words of a wise man.
If you would just get up and teach them instead of handing them a freaking packet, yo. There's kids in here.
Yo, he was really spitting though, bro.
They need to learn
Nah, you can't tell me bro wasn't spitting. Generational moment right here.
face to face. You're just getting mad because I'm pointing out the obvious and you're just wasting my time. No, I'm not wasting your time.
Yo, moist critical
Tell me
wildin'.
what you need to do. You want kids to come into your class? You want them to get excited for this? You gotta come in here. You gotta make them excited. You want a kid to change and start doing better? You gotta touch his freaking
He was generally right though. All jokes aside, he was 100% right. Like I don't think anybody could say he's wrong in this.
heart. Can't expect a kid to change if all you do is just tell him. You got
Type shit. Man, I would have stood up like, yeah, he's right. Yeah, he's right. And she would have been like, Tommy, sit down or you're getting suspended. I would have been like, oh, you're right. Never mind. He's wrong. Kick him out. Kick him out the class. Bro, nah, imagine all the kids got him. They're like, you know what? He's right. We're getting out. Kids nowadays would have posted bro on TikTok with the get out sound. Dead ass. They would have been like, nah, what is bro talking about? Just sit down and do your work. Just use ChatGPT, bro.
stupid chairs and use their computers instead of actually teaching the class.
If you would just get up.
Hey, no way! That's crazy. I swear on everything this is not pre-watched.
Instead of handing them a freaking packet, yo. There's kids in here who don't learn like that. They need to learn face to face.
In America, it's very common to come across
He's 100% right, but also too, the teachers, if you have like 50 students, you can't teach them individually, which kind of sucks. I think a teacher that's actually passionate would want to do that side by side about it, but it's just unfortunate, bro, you know.
classes
Stuff.
where students are forced to learn everything but
I hate these calculators too, by the way. I had to buy myself in college. It was like $150.
students are forced to learn everything by themselves rather than be taught. And no matter how much students and parents complain, school districts almost never do anything about it.
For a calculator,
Due to
yeah.
the
Wait, y'all
shortage
didn't
of
spend that
teachers
much?
And the protection from teachers' unions, school districts can't just replace teachers who aren't doing their job. With such terrible teachers, it's only natural that students aren't learning.
Yeah, and then if they do want to go through the process, they literally have to look for another teacher, and who knows how long that's going to take.
Properly. And another big problem
I think nowadays, let's say somebody is looking to get a job, it's $30K for middle school teaching. They see like DoorDash and Uber Eats pay $20K a year. I think that person would take that $10K hit and just do DoorDash and Uber.
is the lack of funding. In America, a big portion of funding for public schools comes from the taxpayer money of the community.
Right.
This means that schools in wealthy communities are well funded, but schools in low-income communities are poorly funded. So if you live in a
And then you got the schools that are mixed. This type of school I went to, bro, like my school was pretty ghetto, but it was like this. The area I was in, there would be a super rich area, there would be a super poor area, a middle class area. You'd have all those people like mixed and combined. And it'd be so funny because the people from the higher class area and shit, some of the niggas would be trying to act like they're from the lower class area, like hoodlums and stuff. It was so funny. It was like such a mix where I lived of a bunch of different people like that came from money, or their parents had money at least, and then people that didn't.
America, your quality of
was straight
education
Hispanic.
and therefore your prospects of success are largely determined by the community that you live in. This problem can be seen in low-income cities like Detroit, where only 3% of fourth graders are proficient in math.
Oh, 3%? Jesus, bro. Our expectations were low, but holy fuck. So is this just normal? I think this is above, but even then above only 3%?
Low-income students enter high school with literacy skills 5 years behind high-income students. Only 14% of low-income students graduate college, compared to 60% of high-income students. It's quite clear that schools in lower income communities need more funding. America spends $857 billion annually on public education. So where is all of that money going? Well, a big chunk of it is
politicians
going towards administrative staff. From 2000 to 2019, the number of administrative staff increased by 88%.
Administrative staff. Oh, like the principal and stuff?
And the number of principals and assistant principals increased by 37%.
No. There is a crazy amount of principals and shit now that I think of it. Bro, because why at my fucking high school was there the principal, assistant principal, and co-principal? Nigga, how many principals do we need, huh? Might as well just add a jester principal. Like, it makes sense for there to be a principal and vice principal. That's it. You don't need more than that. Then after that, you can get the team. But why is there like so many principals? I'm literally just searching up shit. 5 new principals, 1 program director at Fayette schools. 5 principals? I don't even know what this is. I just searched up multiple principals in American schools, but maybe they have term limits like real presidents. They don't, bro, because I remember like the principal that was in my middle school was still the principal. They should have term limits, no cap. Like either the vice principal takes over 1 year or something and then you get lowered. Like it has to be that.
7%. While the number of students
and I truly think the principals don't be doing shit. I'm being so real, y'all. Especially when I was in high school, I saw the principal a couple times a year. I don't even know if I saw him more than 10 times in the 4 years I was in high school. Okay, he would mainly be at like when it was the graduation, obviously, the intro to the classes. That was mainly the times I saw him though. I saw my counselor more than my principal walking around school. Yeah, like, bro, the principal would just be sitting in the office doing nothing.
Teachers only increased by 8%. This shows how a disproportionate share of resources is going into administrative functions rather than directly supporting students and teachers. Maybe if funding was actually allocated correctly, our academic performance wouldn't be so low. Another large problem is that schools have allowed students to be lazy. In America, teenagers between ages of 15 and 17 spend an average of 1 hour a day on homework. Meanwhile, American teenagers spend an average of 8.5 hours on their phone.
Yeah, because nobody wants to do that shit, dude. Who cares about homework? Homework was literally made as a punishment. Well, the origin story of homework often points to Italian teacher Roberto Nevelis assigning homework as a punishment for misbehavior is inaccurate. Homework's primary purpose is to reinforce, propaganda. I fully believe that homework was made as a punishment. There's no way it wasn't. I literally don't do homework most of the time. That's why I'm failing 3 classes. You better get on your shit, my boy.
Daily. 1 in 5 teenagers report watching YouTube almost constantly. And parents are also responsible for this problem. Only 43% of kids say their parents check their grades more than once a month.
For real? Bro, my parents was on my ass, bro. What? My dad, it used to be like this. If me and my brother weren't getting A's and B's, he would literally take away our console. That nigga was not playing. I had to get good grades. I had no choice. Because, dude, I wanted to have fun, bro. If I didn't have my consoles or anything, I was not about to have fun.
As a result, students can laze around and waste their time without being held accountable. Education in America has been in a steady decline for a while now. The government tried to fix these problems by implementing academic standards called the Common Core, but this actually made things
Common Core is terrible.
even worse. Common Core sets standards for what students should know at each grade level to ensure that students are learning efficiently. And now this all sounds good on paper, but in reality, Common Core has only hurt the education system of America. First off, Common Core operates with a one-size-fits-all approach, which assumes every student learns at the same pace. This system takes power away from teachers and schools, who understand their students best, and instead dictates students' learning based off the government's own ideals. And the biggest flaw with Common Core is the confusing math methods it imposes onto children. You have 8 seconds to solve this math problem. Go.
45. Yeah, I failed.
Was your answer 35? Well, you get 0 points. If you didn't use the quantum linear dimensional isolation method to solve the question, then you didn't.
Yeah, I knew that, bro. I was just repeating like the wrong answer so I could like teach on shit what the right answer actually is, which is 35.
Do it correctly. This is the BS that every child in America goes through. You see, Common Core requires students to solve math questions using confusing steps and algorithms. If students don't use these methods, they automatically fail the question, even if their answer—
For real? Oh, they do that! Oh my god, no, I remember, bro. It used to be like, you have to use this method. I completely forgot. Oh, that was so annoying. Why though? Like, I don't get the point. But that's why anything in life, bro. If you find something to get you money, bro, okay, obviously as long as it's not illegal or anything, but like, there's people that do like dumbass jobs online that they make money from. There's people that literally clip, like streamers clips, and they make like 15K, 20K a month. But in the school system, they'd be like, nah, you can't do that method or something. It's the wrong method. You have to do it our way.
Answer is correct. As a kid, I had a very hard time understanding Common Core math, which led to me constantly getting low scores on my tests and classes. It was insanely demoralizing and I felt stupid. Well, it turns out I'm actually really good at math. In high school, where Common Core is less present, learning calculus was very easy for me, and I scored very highly on my exams.
Okay.
I also got a near perfect score on the math.
Damn! Shout out to bro. Hold on. Yo. Almost an 800, bro.
Math segment of my SAT. So how come learning basic algebra was so difficult for me as a kid? Common Core has created a very confusing system of learning, which has led many students to learn less efficiently and hate their classes. Common Core? More like Common L. You might be wondering, how does terrible education affect America? Well, the effects are really bad. Because so many students receive terrible education, America now has the worst educated workforce in the industrialized world. 54% of US adults have a reading proficiency below the 6th grade level.
I just don't believe that. Like, 50% of people have reading proficiency below the 6th grade. Like, you gotta understand how crazy that is, bro. Some 6th grade books. Hand the hat, that is not 6th grade. Holes? That's 6th grade? And you're telling me people can't read that?
Level. And 21% of US adults are illiterate. This is embarrassing, considering we are the wealthiest country in the world. Now you know how bad America's school system is. So how do we fix it? Well, it's actually quite simple. Firstly, to address violence and bullying, schools need to hold students more accountable. Currently, students barely receive any punishment for bullying and violence. There should be more severe consequences, such as mandatory community service or being expelled.
Ooh, no, that would stop niggas. You tell them, yo, you get in a fight, you gotta do a full weekend of community service. This shit not gonna work. But like strict things like that, that's low-key like what you gotta do, bro. Expulsion would probably make it worse. No, expulsion, I think that's crazy. Like for expulsion, I feel like you have to do something that's like damn near a crime. I knew 2 people I think that ever got expelled. And one of them was literally a criminal. Like he pretty much was selling goddamn za in the school.
This seems like a very simple fix, but very little.
Prison might be too much. Not prison, maybe like jail or juvie or whatever, just so like they know. Like, but you'll tell them before, they'll get warnings. I think a good way to implement it is, all right, you get the community service. If you don't do it, you get warned like 3-4 times. After that, I don't know, you get like a weekend or whatever time in there.
Progress has been made. To address the shortage of teachers, America needs to pay teachers more. I mean, we clearly have the money to pay them. Where's that $857 billion going? We also need to
Politicians.
remove these teachers who do nothing but hand out packets. The school system is paying them as they contribute to the academic downfall of the country. The problem of low-funded schools is also a pretty simple fix. Public schools need more funding from state and federal governments. Also, Common Core needs to go. There has not been any academic progress attributed to the implementation of Common Core. Common Core is only hurting the academic progress in America. I recently made a video about the horrible education systems in many Asian countries,
Yeah, watch
where
that.
students study up to 16 hours a day and get physically punished. These countries have the exact
Hear me out, 3 years of Doodoo Chi remix. I was about to say, this is what I was gonna say, hear me out. Every kid that has a fight has to listen to the Dochi Anxiety for 3 hours in a row. I swear they will never ever have a fight again. Then you know what you do too? You put Baby Shark on. Have them listen to it for 3 hours. They're mandatory listening. Full blast. They will never fight again.
opposite problems that America has. Countries need to find a middle ground between these two extremes and maintain a system which develops hardworking and competent students without sacrificing their mental health for success. The truth is, this goal isn't too far-fetched. Take Finland, for example. Finland ranks number 7 in education, higher than China and the United States. Yet, students in Finland receive very minimal homework, and the majority of primary and secondary school students enjoy their education. This shows how it's definitely possible to create a school system.
This type of system or overhauling would take like decades because America is such a big country and like it will take people like a while to adjust to it. I mean, I would hope it starts. It has to start somewhere. I don't know who's gonna start it, bro. That would fix America. Yeah, it would take a while. Like it wouldn't be an overnight thing. I don't even think it'd be done in a decade.
That's both effective and enjoyable. If we take the right steps, we might be able to bring our countries closer to this ideal school system.
Hello guys, thank you for watching.
Wow, that's really good, bro. Hey, y'all go check out his channel. All I know is if I ever catch one of y'all in a fight at school, you won't only get suspended there, you have a problem with me now. All right? You have a problem with me. So don't get into a fight because school suspension is the least scariest thing. That'll happen after, bro. You'll be quivering in your boots. Anyways, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to join the Discord and watch streams.
Subscribe to Tommy NFG.